I love free-to-play games. Free-to-play games are amazing. I think it's a great thing when a paid game goes free-to-play. I love the idea of free-to-play games. Not having to buy games for my friends anymore? Wow, that's great. In the past, I'd be stuck buying multiple copies of games if I wanted to play them with friends because they're either cheap in college and can't afford it, or they just don't know if they'll like the game so they're unwilling to spend money on it. Now I don't have to because so many games are free to play, we can play tons of things. You hear that, you cheap bastards? You guys remember when free-to-play games used to be thought of negatively for being pay to win, or just inferior clones to full-price titles? Those days are long gone. Free-to-play games are some of the best multiplayer games you can play right now, and if you want to have a successful esports industry behind your game, it appears that being free-to-play is the way to go, because all the top esports games are now free-to-play, with the exception of Overwatch, but apparently that game's a joke. Won't going free-to-play make everything pay-to-win, super grindy, and with tons of microtransactions though, you're probably asking? I don't believe so. I argue that free-to-play games and full-price games have almost no difference between their monetization models. Ignoring mobile games, of course, because those are pretty trash. In my opinion, a multiplayer game being free-to-play is always better for its player base than if it costs money. If the company behind a title is going to rip off its players, it's going to do it regardless of if the title is free-to-play or paid. Let's just look at Black Ops 4 for a second. The game has a ridiculous amount of microtransactions. Let me ask you guys a question. How many free-to-play games are charging you for map packs? Almost none. So let's compare some other free-to-play and retail titles at the moment. Diablo 3 versus Path of Exile. Path of Exile has more content and doesn't charge you for expansions, and Diablo 3 is pretty dead. I guess Diablo 3 is more polished, but I'd still probably play Path of Exile if I was going to jump into one of these games now. Destiny 2 versus Warframe. They're not really that close, but Destiny 2 was given away for free for like 2 months or a month. Apparently they needed to get their player base up, and last I saw the game was struggling. Activision recently separated from Bungie, and Destiny 2 in general just did not meet sales expectations. PUBG versus Fortnite. I haven't played PUBG in a long time, but last I checked, PUBG had loot boxes and a worse battle pass system, way worse than Fortnite's, which is free to play, and has a pretty fair system overall, even though I don't like Fortnite that much. Our last comparison is between Rainbow Six Siege and League of Legends. Of course, they have almost nothing in common with each other when it comes to gameplay. They are in two completely different genres of games after all. Outside the gameplay, however, the way they monetize their games is very similar. In Siege, you need 25,000 renown for a new operator, while in League, a new champion costs 6,300 blue essence, and both games also have a very similar and expensive skin system. In addition, Siege also has a period where you cannot actually buy the new operator, only the people with a season pass get access to him or her. So with more and more games switching to the free-to-play model, it's hard to imagine many holding out in the coming years. However, there is one big problem I haven't addressed, and that is hackers. Now, this isn't really a problem for MOBAs or card games outside of scripters, and for that reason, those have all switched to free-to-play titles. Other than Artifact, Valve's latest game that you may have not even heard of because it's fucking dead like 2 months after release. And I think Artifact not being free-to-play is one of the reasons it's failing right now. And to be fair, that game has a ton of other problems you can check out in the video I link below. Anyway, back on topic. In first-person shooters, it is a super big deal. This was the main reason many people had against CSGO going free-to-play, because the game already had a fairly large hacker problem. Companies producing cheats was already a multi-million-dollar business many years ago, so as gaming gets more popular, you can only imagine it's going to go up and up and up. So if a first-person shooter switches to a free-to-play mode, they really have to have a great anti-cheat. I think this is the biggest reason why Siege hasn't gone free-to-play yet, because their anti-cheat isn't as good as CSGO's, and even CSGO's has problems, of course. For example, Trust Factor seems to be heavily reliant on reports, so if you're really good and get reported a lot, you're going to play with a lot more hackers than somebody who sucks at the game like me. So if first-person shooter games want to go free-to-play, the companies behind them have to invest a ridiculous amount of money into combating cheats. Now, in Korea and China, cheaters are actually prosecuted, and they go really hard on them over there, and they also have like a social score system, which is super bad, that I would not want to see anywhere else. Now, for all their faults, Epic Games is taking a particularly hard stance on cheaters. Recently, a story came out that they were suing Fortnite cheaters, and stuff like this will definitely bring cheating down. With CSGO going free to play, I now strongly believe that if you don't want to pay a cent for a game on PC, you can play to your heart's content in pretty much every genre except for the super niche ones like racing sims or of course single player games. But even strategy games like StarCraft 2 have gone free to play. That game had its best year yet last year, or at least best year in a long ass time, and that game was dying before it went free to play, and although it's still not doing amazing, it had a really solid year last year from what I can tell. And of course the amount of quality free-to-play games is going up and up every single day. So with a retail game, they try to make the most of their money in the first couple weeks to month of the game being out. For example, Call of Duty wants to make its most money in the first month after release. That's where they always brag about their sales. After that, they get a lot less. But with a free-to-play title, their interests are in long-term monetization of us, which is good because they give us free updates and they keep updating the game. And when I find a game I really like that's multiplayer, I want to play it for a long time. For example, if they were still updating the Call of Duty games back in the day from like MW2, Black Ops 1, I would still probably be playing those games, to be honest. Although it depends on how they monetize them. It is fucking Activision, so they probably fucked it up. Aside from single-player games, it's my opinion that all multiplayer games should be free to play, and I hope that happens in the future because it's great for people playing them, and apparently it won't change anything. In fact, I think every multiplayer game being free to play will actually increase the competition because the players can play anything they want to. If a free-to-play game sucks, the player base will just go to a better free-to-play game. Simple as that. And if free-to-play games weren't profitable, then why would there be so many right now? Fortnite alone is making a crazy amount of money. In fact, I think Fortnite will be the poster child for more and more games going free to play in the future. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more half-ass videos. Until next time.